Let's try something a little different today. What if we looked at debt not as some kind of moral failing, but as a medical condition, something that can be diagnosed, treated, and ultimately cured? So let's put on our lab coats because we're about to walk through a medical guide to your finances.
And this right here, this is the core idea that can change everything. You see, when you start thinking of yourself as a patient, it takes all the shame out of the equation. It's not about being bad with money. It's about having a condition that needs a treatment plan. And just like in a hospital, there's no single cure for everyone. The treatment has to match the diagnosis. So here are our doctor's orders for today. First up, we're going to run some tests, the diagnosis. Then, we'll look at two very different types of patients and their treatment plans, the general patient and the more critical coma patient. And finally, we'll lay out the path to a full, strong recovery.
Right. So before any doctor can help you, they need to know what's wrong. You need a diagnosis. And in the world of finance, that just means taking an honest, maybe even painful look at your numbers. It's the first and, honestly, the most critical step you can take.
And you can forget about crazy, complicated spreadsheets for now. The single most important tool in your medical kit is a simple forecast. What money is coming in and what money is going out over the next few months. That's it. Think of this as your financial X-ray. It makes the invisible visible.
And when we look at that X-ray, this is the one number that tells us almost everything we need to know. After all the income is counted and all the expenses are paid for the month, what's left over? Is that number positive or is it negative? The answer to that one simple question is going to determine your entire treatment plan. So this breaks it down into our two main patient types. On the left, you've got the general patient. Their cash flow is still positive, but man, they feel strained. They're basically treading water. On the right, though, is the coma patient. Their cash flow is negative, meaning they're sinking a little deeper every single month. That bottom line, that monthly cash flow, is the key difference. So, which one sounds like you?
Okay, let's start with the general patient. If your cash flow is in the positive, but you're weighed down by credit cards and personal loans, this is your treatment plan. The goal here isn't just survival. It's about taking back control and actually starting to move forward again.
And the plan itself is pretty straightforward. There are 3 steps, and you really can't skip any of them. First, you have to stop making the hole you're in any deeper. Second, you got to face the numbers head on. And third, you need a smart, focused strategy to start knocking out that debt for good.
I mean, how perfect is this quote? It sounds so obvious, right? But think about it. If you're paying down your credit card bill only to use the card again for groceries or gas, you're still digging. So the first rule of treatment is put the shovel down. No more new consumer debt, period. Okay, next step. I know this part can be scary, but you have to get all of this stuff out of your head and onto one single piece of paper. List every single debt you have, who it's to, the total amount, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. And yeah, that 120% on the informal loan might look like a typo, but for some non-bank loans, that's reality. Seeing it all laid out like this turns that big, scary monster in your mind into just a list of problems you can solve. And now, we get strategic. Anytime you get a little extra cash, a work bonus, a side hustle payment, anything, the temptation is to spread it around. Don't. You want to focus all your firepower like a laser beam. Your target, the debt with the highest interest rate. Looking back at our list, that's that insane 120% loan. You attack that one first with everything you've got. Wiping that out doesn't just save you a ton of money. It gives you this huge psychological win that builds momentum.
Now, another tool you can use is refinancing, but you have to be so careful here. Think of it like a painkiller. It can make you feel better, but it doesn't cure the disease. All refinancing does is move your debt around. Its one and only purpose should be to improve your monthly cash flow, freeing up more money to throw at your other debts. And if you're going to go down this road, you absolutely have to follow these 3 rules. Rule 1, the new interest rate needs to be way lower, like roughly half the old one, to really make a difference. Rule 2, a longer term is what actually lowers that monthly payment. And Rule 3, and this is crucial, you have to be able to pay it off early with no penalties.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, in the example from our source material, by rolling up a few of those high-interest loans into one, the total monthly payment dropped from 26,000 baht down to 20,000. That's an extra 6,000 baht in your pocket every single month. That's not just a little help, that's a total game changer.
All right, now we have to shift gears and talk about the coma patient. For this group, where more money is going out than coming in every month, the rules of the game change completely.
This isn't about getting ahead anymore. It's about survival. The only goal is to stop the bleeding and stop it now.
And this requires a massive mental shift. When you're in this state, staring at a total debt number, like a million baht, it's just paralyzing. It doesn't help. The only number that matters is that monthly deficit. You have to get your cash flow from negative back to zero. You have to stabilize the patient before you can do anything else.
And the order you do things in is absolutely critical here. First, that financial forecast so you know what's coming. Second, you cut every non-essential expense to the bone. Third, and this is the part most people are terrified to do, you have to pick up the phone and negotiate with your creditors. Only after you've done all that do you focus on earning more. You simply cannot earn your way out of a sinking ship.
People get so scared to talk to their lenders. But let's just demystify this for a second. A loan is just an agreement. That's it. It's an agreement between you and the lender. And when that agreement isn't working anymore, the simplest, most direct solution is to make a new one. It all starts with a conversation.
Now, the recommended approach here is incredibly bold and incredibly powerful. You don't call up making excuses. You state the simple, honest truth. This one sentence, this month, I have nothing to pay. It completely changes the power dynamic. All of a sudden, your problem is now their problem too.
And then you hit them with the follow-up. This shows them this isn't a one-time thing. You're in a real crisis. But look at that last question. What can we do? That little word, we, turns it from a confrontation into a collaboration. This isn't a collection call anymore. This is a negotiation. So once you've stabilized the patient, whether you are in the general ward or the financial ICU, the final phase begins. This is all about moving from just surviving to actually thriving. It's about building your financial strength back up so that this never, ever happens again. This is preventative medicine.
And the key to this long-term recovery is this amazing concept called life capital. Think about it. It's the sum of everything you are. Your professional skills, sure, but also your secret hobbies, your passions, the people you know. So often we don't even realize how valuable this stuff is, but these are assets that could be turned into new income.
And this isn't just some nice theory. Check out these real-world examples. A retired security guard who remembered a skill he learned decades ago, model making, and turned it into a business. A couple who just loved to cook, started a YouTube channel about it and built a whole new career. A maternity nurse who took her professional knowledge and started an online consulting business for new parents. They didn't have to learn something new. They just cashed in on the capital they already had.
So this is the question I want to leave you with. For just a minute, stop thinking about what you don't have. Instead, ask yourself, what knowledge, what skill, what hidden passion do you already possess? What is your unique life capital that could be the engine that drives your road to recovery? Because as we've seen today, the answer is probably a lot closer than you think.